Emma Watson and JK Rowling, they've had a bit of a spat. It's been a bit of a one-sided spat for the past, 5 years, I think, where basically Emma's been taking digs at JK Rowling for all the usual reasons, because she doesn't agree with her about her various political views. And only recently, just the past few days, she, I think, noticed that the winds were shifting in culture and society, and decided, like, oh no, I was never really that against JK Rowling. I'm always open to talking to her, and I hope we can be friends again. And you might have thought, well, that could have been the end of it, but I just kind of like how JK Rowling decided, nah, it's fucking game time now. Absolutely destroyed her on Twitter. Pointing out some very obvious facts, though, that, when it comes to all the things that she likes to rant about, Emma Watson is essentially one of the top 1%. Before she ever got into Harry Potter movies and found stardom there, she was born to lawyers. Her parents were rich lawyers. They had houses in France, in England. She went to private school. She was privately educated. She got access to all the clubs and all of the extracurricular activities that she could ever want, got into acting, and then got into the Harry Potter movies when she was like 10 years old. And so she's never had a normal life, as you would define it. She's never had to work a normal job. She's never had to struggle to pay rent, never had anything even approaching hardship. And yet became one of those self-appointed moral guardians of modern culture, telling other people how they should feel about every particular issue that comes up. And the takedown, I think, was just one of the most brutally efficient deconstructions of a person and their public persona that I think I've ever seen. And it's probably like a good example of why you should never piss off a writer. Because
I was watching Asmongold react to your video, and earlier he went, "This is why you never piss off a writer," and then about 30 seconds later you went, "This is why you never piss off a writer."
I saw it too.
It's true though, damn. But yeah, man, it's wow, what a hit she has taken. And I think in some ways it's kind of deserved, because there's nothing worse than a turncoat. It's one thing to have shitty opinions, and to stick with them until the bitter end. Like Mark Hamill, he's going to hold by whatever he believes until the day he dies, no matter what happens. Emma Watson just seemed to like go with whatever the popular opinion was at the time. And now that the popular opinion is changing, she has switched sides, and she's trying to cozy up to JK Rowling again. And didn't go too well for her.
I guess my thing is, like, what did she expect to happen? Like after, like, is she looking for a new role in the new series that's coming out, or like what is she hoping to happen by?
I think it's all in case of public reputation and perception. Mm-hmm. Like if you've hitched your wagon to one particular political ideology, and like she essentially nuked her Hollywood career to become an activist. If you then realize that, like, oh wow, the winds of change are a-blowing here, and like the things that I've been pushing for so hard for the past several years are not as popular anymore, and JK Rowling is now like kind of on the rise again in terms of like people's agreement with her. What do I do? Because I can stick with this and I'll be ostracized, or I can try and cozy up to her again. And that's what it feels like. It's like following whatever you think is the strongest position.
But also, even her kind of, it wasn't really an apology or even trying to get back to it. It was more, I'm going to do this in a way that makes me feel seem like the magnanimous person. So she's like, I may disagree with them, but I'm going to come at them with love. I'm going to be the bigger person than this person over there. It was still a put down. It's just wrapped up in such flowery, emotive language that doesn't really go anywhere. Which was what the entire interview was for about 3 hours, just navel gazing.
I could not have watched that whole thing, by the way. That was just word salad for 2 hours.
Mm-hmm. I was just in Blab's chat taking the piss out of it for 2 hours. Never went anywhere.
Dude, I really didn't realize she hasn't been in a movie since 2019.
Yeah, and she was trying to say that was her choice, that she liked acting, but didn't like the marketing aspect, so all the interviews and stuff. She didn't like selling something, which was the majority of the job. And there was also a really weird bit where she started crying because she said, I went into these things expecting to find friends, and everyone else was there to work, and they weren't friends with me afterwards. And it really showed the silver spoon element of, you need to work and do this job to get paid, whereas I'm just here as a hobby. Because I already have the money, which is interesting. You can the good thing about England, you can tell everything about a person from their accent. You hear her say one word, you know she had that background.
I also would say plenty of people make friends and good networking and relationships, and even people like meet and start families as a result of working together on a film set. I just find it amusing that she goes in and she's like, it's everyone else's problem. I can't make friends with anybody. You're like, it's an X factor.
I think Blabs even said, other people on the set are still friends. It's just you.
Yeah. It's like, if you meet assholes everywhere you go, it's like, well, you're the asshole, you know?
That awkward moment where someone's like recalling stories to you, and you're like, wow, you were the dick in that story. You're like, man, that sucks that happened to you, huh?
Yeah, man, but like, I think she'd said herself, like, I think it was after maybe the 4th Harry Potter movie, she had realized, like, well, I'll never have to work again. Like, I'll never have to do a project just for the money or whatever. Like, that's me. I'm set for life, and I can just do the things I'm interested in. Hey, great position to be in, but like, most people are not in your position, so it's kind of unrealistic to expect that kind of attitude of other people. And I don't know, man. Like, it's that weird dichotomy of having been born into this environment where before you even became a movie star, you were already set for life. Your parents were fucking multi-millionaire lawyers. Like, you would never have to work if you didn't want to. And when people like that set themselves up as like the moral guardians of the rest of us, like, this is exactly the kind of person that Ricky Gervais was raging against in his BAFTA speech, or sorry, Golden Globe speech. When he said, like, you've never experienced the real world, you've never experienced hardship, you don't know what real people go through every day, you've never really worked a normal job in your entire life, and you've lived your entire existence in a fucking echo chamber. You've basically been playing life on easy mode your entire existence, and you want to lecture us about how we should live and the opinions we should have? Go fuck yourself, because you're wholly unqualified to have any of this authority over anyone. You are an idiot. You're a clown jester. So you're a court jester that should just be making us laugh. That's the reason people find people like Emma Watson so insufferable. And I think that's the reason that JK Rowling's rant against her gained so much traction, because it was so richly deserved.
There are actors that you could literally just take just like a copy and paste of that exact rant, you know, and just portions of it and apply it to people. Because, you know, that's the thing. She was so articulate in the way she was able to it wasn't even like she was trying, you know, it was like a 1-inch punch where it just caused massive damage, or like death by 1,000 cuts of just like, holy shit. I didn't feel bad for her at the end of it. Talking about the Harry Potter actor, I didn't feel bad for her. I felt pride for JK Rowling for saying that, you know, I guess that's the best way to say it.
Well, I think because, you know, like, there's probably a lot of things that I would disagree with JK Rowling on, but like, in this respect, she was 100% right. And like, I got a lot of respect for her because she wrote at least the first Harry Potter book in abject poverty. Like, she has struggled in life in ways that Emma Watson would never fucking understand. And I think she said this herself in her Twitter thread, she had maintained a silence about this and never like clapped back at her, because up until recently she saw her as still like the nervous little girl who was doing like her lines for the first time, was an inexperienced young actress and who was just trying to find her way in the studio system. But she's 35 years old now. She's not a little girl anymore. She's a grown woman with her like own opinions, and she's subject to the repercussions of those opinions. You know, she doesn't get the like little kid defense anymore. And I think she realized that, and like, okay, you want to come at me as a grown adult? Well, you're going to get fucking slapped down as a grown adult then. And that's what she did, and delivered in pretty spectacular fashion.
And she has been quiet for years and years now. people have almost seen it as their duty to come out and attack JK and make it explicitly clear that I disagree with everything she says and I despise everything she says. And there's never been a clapback. Even when Papa came out recently, he was working on a new show and went, no, I don't like anything she said. She said, well, I wouldn't fire him if I could. And the worst I've seen was, I think somebody wrote about how 3 people disappointed her. And she's like, yeah, imagine that, 3 people that you gave everything to and all they've done has been ungrateful their entire lives. That's the worst clapback she's ever done before. But this was Emma Watson in a 2.5-hour podcast, just out of nowhere, just coming at her for no reason. And it was completely unprompted, really. He asked about Harry Potter, but it wasn't like a gotcha question. It wasn't a journalist on a red carpet. This was just like a friendly chat. Well,
yeah, it was always something that was preying on her mind. Yeah, sorry, Chris.
But also, no, just real quick, it's like, I guess in the age of social media, people feel like they have to have an opinion on everything. Release a statement about whether it's Palestine or Bad Bunny. It's okay to say, I have no opinion on this. I have no opinion.
I don't care.
At all. I don't care. Well, yeah, ultimately, yeah. I mean, I heard this controversy about Bad Bunny, which sounds like a terrible idea for the NFL, which I normally like the NFL. So, but that's the first time I've ever heard of that act. It's a bad idea. But anyways, I'm just saying you don't have to have an opinion on everything. It's okay.
We don't need it. Like, who's that guy that played fucking Draco Malfoy in Harry Potter? Tom something. Anyway, he was asked about this and he just bowed right out of the conversation. He's like, you know what? It's not my place to have or to make statements about JK Rowling or whatever she thinks or whatever. And that was it. That was the end of it for him. And you know what? I'm not exempting Daniel Radcliffe from this either, because I think he shit on JK Rowling pretty publicly as well. Very much followed Emma Watson's lead because it was the politically expedient thing to do. Fair enough, but don't expect to avoid criticism when the pendulum swings back against you, because it has.
There have been a number of actors which have dodged the question by just being knowing the interviewers after them. I think Sydney Sweeney recently just went, no, I'm here to talk about the movie. Tom Cruise did. Mads Mikkelsen a long time ago, someone asked him a question. He went, what do you think? And he was like, I'm just here to ask the question. And panicked.
The second a quote unquote journalist gets a spotlight on him, it's just horrifying. I didn't sign up to speak. What?
It's like a vampire that's had sunlight on them, don't look at me.
I think it was a movie or something about sort of Eastern Europeans or something. I was like, well, you need the diversity requirements to get awards. And Mads Mikkelsen went, is it a problem for you? And it was just